So let's say you're like me, and your car only has one 12-volt port. That's great and all, until you want to run another accessory, like a dash cam, or a radar detector, or any other sort of 12-volt power source accessory. So how do you do this without using a power splitter that is going to blow your fuse? Well, let me show you. This is my 2005 Ford Focus ZX3, so it's the two-door hatchback, and these are very, very prone to electrical issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use a fuse tap or a fuse piggyback to power your dash cam and your FM transmitter at the same time and have a little bit of added safety. So what a fuse tap is exactly what it sounds like. It is a tap into an existing fuse in your vehicle. Now, a lot of people, when they hear that, they think, okay, my fuse box looks like this. I have these open slots. I'll just tap into one of these open slots. No. Cannot do that. Mostly because of the reason of something like my Ford Focus, where these ports don't actually have any metal you can connect to in there. They are dead ports. You cannot use them. So you have to tap into an existing fuse, which means you want a fuse that does not have constant power. A lot of these ports, like say this 12-volt port, this bright yellow fuse right here in 47, that is a constant power port. If you tap that at any point in time, key off or in any position, they will always have 12 volts of power, which is not something you want to tap because that will drain your battery. So I tapped into, specifically in this vehicle, the rear wiper sunroof fuse, and no, I don't recommend doing that on your car. I'm just telling you what I did on my car, and I'm not responsible for you doing any stupid shit if you do. However, this specific fuse has ignition power, and what that means is, right now, my dash cam is off, but I better grab my keys here. Let's say just turn this to the on position, I immediately have power. And vice versa, turn the key off, it loses power, and it shuts off. So, what I did is I came in here, I tapped that fuse, I kept the existing fuse in that tap, and then I added another 5-volt fuse, or 5-amp fuse, sorry. Just looking at the voltmeter right there. And then I also got the kit that has a power kill box, which means that if I can grab this fucking flashlight here, and you can actually see what I'm looking at here, down there to that red and black, there's a little box down in there. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get that on video. My apologies. But down there where that light is shining, there's a little black box down in there. And that little black box will cut off power once the battery reaches 11.9 volts, which means that it will not carry any more power and it won't drain my battery anymore. So that little black box comes up through this trim panel, which is insanely easy to remove in this Ford Focus, and I'll show you how to replace it, to this chassis ground out, where you will need a ground out, and you can technically use one of these bolts in here, but I personally, this is a lot easier to get to, and it's a lot bigger bolt, so I would go with this one. Then you want to run your wire up through here, and these do come with little trim panel pullers, but in a lot of these specific cars, you're just going to want to work around the trim, because pulling this whole trim panel, which goes all the way back to the B-pillar, is a pain in the ass. Trust me, I tried, and it didn't really go well. But what you can do is you can run your wire up underneath this trim panel, and you can actually see where it's running to right there, right into there. So that'll run through your little crevice right there, which will leave a pretty clean install as long as you're not looking directly at it. Run it back up through here, back up behind this corner, and then back all the way up through here. You can actually see just a little bit of wire sticking out right there. And then it goes up into the headboard, all the way over here, comes out of the headboard. I have it wrapped around right there just to kind of keep it out of the way a little bit more, and into my dash cam. So when you're doing this, you want to pick a fuse that has only either accessory or ignition power, like I said, and you also want to make sure you put your fuse in the correct spot, which I believe is in the bottom of the fuse tap itself, the bottom being the closest to the prongs. And then you can see that yellow fuse is in the top, which is actually feeding power to my unit. Like I said, don't use the fuse that I use just because I said that it worked. Always test your fuses with a voltmeter or an illuminated screwdriver. In my case, I used an illuminated screwdriver and I got away with it just fine. But if you are a little bit more picky about seeing the volts specifically that are coming out of it, you can use a voltmeter. I would recommend doing it that way, but if you just have an illuminated screwdriver like myself, just ground out to right there, test them all out. You have test prongs on the fuses. Anyways, like I said, this is my 2005 Ford Focus ZX3. Oh, I actually told you I was going to show you how to put this panel back in. It's a sliding clip on the top and a pushing clip on the bottom. So you're going to want to go in like this, slide that into the top, and then just simply push that back into the bottom. Click it in, make sure it's nice and secured in place, and ta-da, you have reinstalled your trim panel. And everything goes in for a really nice, clean, professional look. And you have a little bit of ease of mind knowing that your fuses are protected by another piggyback fuse as well. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.